The world is split into two types of people, those who move the board and those who are moved by it. You felt this divide your entire life. You enter a room and somehow disappear. Meanwhile, others walk in and gravity bends toward them without a word spoken. They receive the chances. They receive the deference. They accumulate influence. And you do the opposite of what works. You put in more effort. You try to be agreeable. You aim to be skilled, reliable, competent. Still, you're overlooked. You're left asking why ability isn't enough. Why decency goes unnoticed. Here is the uncomfortable truth society avoids saying out loud. Power is indifferent to your intentions. It responds only to leverage. You've been trying to reach powerful people by offering friendship. But those at the top are not short on friends. They are short on utility. They seek assets, reflections of themselves, buffers against risk. If you want access to the rooms where real decisions are made, you must eliminate the part of you that craves approval. You must stop asking for permission to take up space. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote The Prince centuries ago not to glorify cruelty, but to document reality as it is. He understood that human behavior is driven by self-interest, fear, and ego. Ignore this, and you will always be a pawn. Understand it, and you become the force guiding the board. What follows dismantles the comforting myths you were taught about networking. These are Machiavelli's 13 ruthless laws of connection. They are not etiquette. They are psychological instruments that by the end, you will stop viewing powerful people as superior beings. You will see them as systems with vulnerabilities. And once you recognize the strings, you can never return to being controlled by them. Most people fail because they approach power empty-handed, asking for favors. They believe connection is about authenticity. That belief is false. Authenticity is a privilege reserved for those who already possess power. For those ascending, connection is about strategic alignment. It means becoming precisely what the other person requires until your presence becomes indispensable. The challenge is doing this without dissolving yourself. How do you shape perception without becoming submissive? The answer lies in a psychological space known as the void. But first, the laws. Law 1. Never outshine the master. Your first mistake is attempting to impress. You meet someone influential and your ego rushes forward. You demonstrate intelligence, capability, insight. You think this earns admiration. Instead, it breeds insecurity. Powerful individuals often possess fragile identities built on being the sharpest mind in the room. When you shine too brightly, you are no longer useful. You are threatening. Machiavelli warned that appearing superior to those above you is dangerous. When you make them feel diminished, even subtly, you activate their defensive instincts. They won't eliminate you for incompetence, but for risk. The solution is restraint. Let them appear brilliant. Present ideas as extensions of their thinking. Ask questions that allow them to deliver the insight. This is not weakness. It is concealment. When they feel superior, their guard drops. Once you are no longer perceived as a threat, access follows. While they admire themselves, you study patterns, identify weaknesses, and secure position. Let them take the spotlight. You take control behind the curtain. Law 2. Conceal your intentions. Predictability invites control. If your desires are obvious, you are easily manipulated. Most people approach power radiating need. Their body language broadcasts dependence. This repels influence instantly. To move within power, you must be unreadable. Do not announce your objective. Speak about culture, philosophy, interests, anything but agenda. Mystery creates engagement. When they cannot decode you, curiosity replaces suspicion. They begin projecting their own motivations onto you. Now they pursue clarity. Be open, personable, charismatic, yet keep ambition sealed. The less visible your goal, the more leverage you retain. Law 3. Appeal to self-interest, never compassion. Appealing to kindness is the strategy of the powerless. Powerful individuals are flooded with stories of hardship. If they rewarded merit alone, they would collapse under obligation. Instead of asking for help, present value. Frame every interaction as alignment, not charity. Identify what they lack: time, loyalty, advantage, image. Position yourself as the solution. When you speak, center their needs, not yours. You are no longer requesting opportunity. You are offering relief. Self-interest is universal language. Fluency opens doors. Law 4. Strategic absence. Constant availability signals disposability. Time is the one resource power respects. Give it away freely, and you declare it worthless. Be fully present when you appear. Then withdraw. Scarcity generates respect. Absence creates mental space. When you return, you are valued, not expected. Law 5. Become the mirror. Everyone is obsessed with themselves. Powerful people crave validation of their worldview. Do not compete for attention. Reflect them back, enhanced. Match tempo, posture, vocabulary. Mirror energy. This creates subconscious trust. They feel seen. And people protect what affirms them. Law 6. Control information. Information is modern power, especially private, accurate insight. Become a source of truth. Not gossip, intelligence. Deliver value discreetly. Protect the source. If they need you for clarity, you become indispensable. Law 7. The useful enemy. Shared opposition creates rapid bonding. Align with what they resist. Validate their struggle. Position yourself as ally in conflict. Us versus them forges loyalty. Law 8. Feed the fantasy. People live inside narratives about who they believe themselves to be. Your task is to support that identity. Do not challenge it. Reinforce it. You become part of the structure holding their self-image intact. Law 9. Emotional alchemy. Power carries stress. Be the calm. Absorb chaos. Return certainty. Those who create emotional safety become irreplaceable. Law 10. Formlessness. Rigid identity limits access. Adapt. Blend. Remove friction. Invisibility first, impact later. Law 11. Create dependence. Make replacement impossible. Embed yourself into what they rely on. Control access. Protect specialization. Mutual entanglement is security. Law 12. Control the frame. The one who defines options controls outcomes. Limit choices. Guide direction. Let them authorize what you designed. Law 13. Radical autonomy. This law sustains all others. You must not need power to access power. Dependency dissolves leverage. Have your own foundation. Be willing to walk away. Those who can leave command respect. When you operate from wholeness, your presence changes. Your voice steadies. Your movement slow. Power recognizes solidity. These principles are not cruelty. They are clarity. They reveal how systems actually function. You can reject them and remain invisible. Or you can understand them and move with intention. Machiavelli did not invent manipulation. He documented human nature without flinching. These laws are not restraints. They are instruments. But possession means nothing without discipline. This is not an endpoint. It is a practice. The world will try to return you to compliance. If you refuse, if you choose awareness over comfort, then decide now. Stop observing. Start operating. Why most people reject these laws? Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because accepting these laws would force them to let go of a comforting lie. The lie is that effort is enough. That morality is enough. That if you are patient and sincere, the system will eventually notice you. But systems don't notice sincerity. They respond to pressure, incentives, and structure. The reason these ideas feel uncomfortable is not because they are false. It's because they threaten the identity you've been trained to protect, the identity of the good person who deserves recognition. Power doesn't reward goodness. It rewards alignment. And the moment you accept that, the confusion lifts. The cost of remaining invisible. There is a quiet violence in being unseen. Not dramatic, not loud, just years of being passed over while less capable people advance. You start doubting yourself. You shrink your ambitions. You begin to explain yourself preemptively, hoping clarity will save you. It won't. Invisibility is not solved by effort. It is solved by positioning. Every law you've heard is designed to answer a single question. Why should power keep you close? Until you can answer that without speaking, you will remain outside the circle, watching decisions that shape your life being made without you. Power is not evil. It is amoral. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing power is corrupt. Power is not corrupt. It is neutral. It amplifies whoever holds it. A dishonest person with power becomes dangerous. A disciplined person with power becomes effective. Avoiding power does not make you virtuous. It makes you vulnerable. The world is shaped by those willing to understand influence, not those waiting for fairness. Learning these laws is not about domination. It is about self-defense in systems that will use you if you remain naive. The moment the shift happens, There is a moment when everything changes. It's subtle. No applause. No announcement. You walk into a room and stop explaining. You speak less. You observe more. People lean in. Not because you're louder, but because you're grounded. That is the moment you stop chasing connection and start attracting it. Not through need. Through stability. That is when power begins to treat you as a peer. Why power tests you before it accepts you? There is something few people ever realize about powerful individuals. They do not welcome connection immediately. They test it. Not consciously. Not formally. But instinctively. When you enter the orbit of power, you are being evaluated long before you are acknowledged. Your reactions are watched. Your patience is measured. Your emotional control is noted. Most people fail this test without knowing it exists. They overshare too early. They rush to prove value. They seek reassurance. They ask for clarity, validation, or certainty. And in doing so, they signal fragility. Power does not trust fragility. It trusts composure under ambiguity. Silence when others panic. Stillness when outcomes are unclear. Consistency when nothing is guaranteed. This is why powerful people often seem distant or unpredictable. They are not being cruel. They are filtering. They want to know, will this person remain steady if I delay them? Will they grow resentful if I don't respond immediately? Will they collapse emotionally if the door doesn't open on the first attempt? If you fail these silent tests, the door closes quietly. No rejection. No explanation. Just absence. Those who pass do something different. They do not chase clarity. They do not demand reassurance. They do not personalize uncertainty. They continue moving forward with or without permission. This signals abundance. And abundance is magnetic to power. The boy's real lesson, narrative tie-in. This is the lesson the old man never explains directly to the boy. He lets the boy sit in silence. He withholds answers. He allows confusion. Because the lesson is not intellectual. It is behavioral. The boy must learn that power respects those who do not crumble when access is delayed. That calm persistence speaks louder than enthusiasm. That self-possession is more persuasive than talent. When the boy finally understands this, something changes. He stops asking when his turn will come. He focuses on becoming immovable. And that is when the world begins to adjust around him. Why this is where most people quit. This stage is where almost everyone turns back. Not because it's difficult, but because it feels unfair. You did the work. You showed value. You were patient. And still, nothing. This is the final illusion breaking. Power does not reward effort. It rewards pressure tolerance. If you cannot withstand ambiguity, you cannot be trusted with influence. Those who remain calm here are rare. And rarity is what power ultimately seeks. How this connects to everything before. Every law you've heard funnels into this moment. Strategic absence. Concealed intentions. Radical autonomy. They all exist to prepare you for the test of waiting without weakening. If you can do that, if you can remain whole while unseen, you stop auditioning, and power begins to observe you differently, not as someone asking to be let in, but as someone who may need to be kept close. Most people will hear this and dismiss it. They'll call it cold, manipulative, or unnecessary. That reaction is the defense mechanism of someone who still believes the world rewards intention over understanding. But look around you, at who rises, who decides, who is protected. Power does not move randomly. It follows patterns. And once you see those patterns, you are no longer confused by outcomes. You stop waiting to be chosen. You stop explaining yourself. You move with clarity, restraint, and purpose. If this resonated, don't just watch and forget. Subscribing isn't about supporting a channel. It's a signal to yourself that you're done being a spectator in systems you don't understand. This channel is for those who choose awareness over comfort, strategy over hope, and discipline over illusion. Welcome inside.